Welcome back to Bros and Badges. Today we are going to fix the Nintendo Direct. Yes, you heard me right. We're fixing it. We're going to dive right into it. Welcome back to Bros and Badges. It's been a bit since we've been in this kind of like podcast format. We're back in the same space virtually, so not the same space at all. Not literally. But yeah, mainly I also just wanted to take this time for Joe and I to both get to recap the Direct together, because I kind of gave some of my thoughts on the top 10 reveals, which, you know, some of you loved, some of you absolutely hated for good reason or bad reason. You know, it's my take, y'all. But today you're going to get to hear a bit from Joe, as well as we kind of dissect the Direct, and then also just talk about realistically what would have made it better, and honestly, with a few tweaks, how they could have just fixed the Nintendo Direct. But before we save it, Joe, what were some of your just like initial thoughts about the Nintendo Direct? What were some of the highlights? What stood out to you? You know, what was your number one reveal?
Ooh, that's tough. Well, to answer your first question, I thought it was fantastic. I failed to think of a better Direct in recent memory. I think overall they had a really strong showing. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I was very excited to see everything. It was one of the first times that I'm watching a Direct and I'm like, whoa, that's coming, like, constantly. So really good to see that for a Nintendo console. Really good to see like power actually being pushed. So that was really exciting. As for like my favorite, or at least thing I'm most excited for, I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan. Unfortunately, I like anime and video games, so you know I have to like Kingdom Hearts. And I was already excited with the 1 through 3 being native, because I unfortunately was a fool who got the cloud version, and I'm going to be a fool who buys the native versions. And even though the cloud is synced, that's, you know, I'm still spending stupid amounts of money for this game. So at least seeing Kingdom Hearts 4 made me go, okay, there's something on the horizon that's actually worth investing in. And maybe we'll go more
there's not
into...
an upgrade path for... There's not an
No,
upgrade
I don't
path
think
for
there
people who
is.
just paid for the cloud versions?
No, I think it's literally just buy the game again, yeah. I will say, for those of you who don't know and are interested, the games are on sale right now for like a pretty good price. I don't remember off the top of my head, but maybe we'll flash something on the screen. Up until their release, if you buy them now, I would say, you know, if you haven't jumped in, now is the time to do it. You are getting some of the best JRPGs in history, native on the Switch 2, which is, in my opinion, you know, the greatest console of all time. Other than that, yeah, man, we didn't get to speak, so everything that I saw about your reaction on the Direct was from our video, so it was really cool to at least kind of see how you felt about it. But hey, man, it's good to be back here and discussing a Nintendo Direct. Who would have thought, right?
Exactly, man. We both had a crazy week behind the scenes, but the Direct was happening, and that's just kind of how the Nintendo that's not how the Nintendo life rolls. You know, roll with the punches. So but yeah, dude, I mean, I was very impressed by the Direct overall. We talked about this off screen for a sec too. Realistically, like, third party showed up in such a big way, and I do think a lot of people that are super angry about the Direct are underplaying how big it is for a Nintendo console to finally have so many like day and date releases coming from big third party gets. Yes, there are a lot of old ports, but even these old ports, like, let's be real, if these had come to the Switch 1 in its like first year or two of launch, we would have been blown away. I think when the Switch 1 came out, a lot of people were still like gracious enough to realize this is a handheld console. You know, it is a dual console for sure. It is a home console, but also part of the draw of the Switch, it is handheld. It's handheld play. So you're not going to always get day and date the same exact, you know, game, or at least not always. Yeah, you're not always going to get the same game that's going to come to a big console that can handle everything. But we're starting to see that actually not be true. You know, we're starting to see way closer releases. I mean, even this year, like, we've got like Batman, like the Lego game that's coming out later. We've got the James Bond game that's coming out later, but like they're pretty close. And then, you know, to see these games like Stellar Blade from the Direct coming, to see like Lies of P, to see ReFantazio coming, like, these are huge gets that I just think a lot of people are kind of like underplaying, because yes, some of them are older games, but like you just said, we're going to be getting Kingdom Hearts 4 same day release. That's huge. It wasn't in the Direct specifically, but they also announced, I think it was during Summer Games Fest, that, you know, Final Fantasy Revelation is coming day and date as well to the Switch 2. Like, that's huge, you guys. That is a huge get. And I feel like Square Enix has been really just doing waves with Kingdom Hearts 4 coming, and Final Fantasy. Like that's huge. That is so big. So even if this direct was just third-party games, that would have been a huge showcase. But realistically, there was also a lot of first-party support. There was a lot of first-party games coming. Are they all the AAA games we hoped for the second year of Switch 2? That's where I think we can get a little bit of a debate going. I don't think so. I think there was maybe one. Truthfully, there's like one big game missing that would have turned this whole direct from, like, at least for me, like a B to like an A. And I'm not saying it's one specific game, but if, for instance, they had like a little, like, even if it was just a teaser, like, oh, Luigi's Mansion 4 is coming next year, or like 3D Mario is coming next year, and you just see like one image or something, I think that would have immediately turned into like an A direct, because then it's like, oh, okay, we have this huge, exciting big game that's off, like, looming in the distance. Give us some kind of tease for like a Smash Bros, a Mario, like these tentpole games. But I think the big tentpole game they gave us is obviously Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time remake. That's absolutely huge. I ranked it at like 7 or something in my list of reveals. But the reason was I said reveals. Like, part of my stance was like the reveals they showed, and I didn't think the way they revealed it was a very good reveal, because they didn't show us anything in the game, and it ended the showcase. So part of the reason I talked about fixing the direct is, like, even if that's all they wanted to show us, if that was it, they were just like, we're just going to give you this little cutscene, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. That blew up online. Yes, it did absolute numbers. More people have checked out the Ocarina of Time remake section of the direct than anything else. It's got like tons and tons of views on live, like 14 million plus or something stupid like that. So obviously it worked. That worked. But I think if they would have just, either started the direct with that, or maybe placed it in the middle, it would have immediately become such a better direct for me, because it was ending on it. It's kind of like the promise of, like, oh my gosh, we're about to see Ocarina of Time. We're going to get to see what it looks like. And then they're just like, nope, rug pulled out from under you. We're not even going to tell you, like, when we're telling you more about the game. They were just like, you'll see more in the future. I wish they had just been like, in September, you're going to get a dedicated direct on Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, or in August, etc. I think it was just the way they ended the showcase for me, where they just like teased like a little bit of it that I was like, man, that could have been a lot better. Could have gone a lot better. And they started it with Rhythm Heaven Groove, which is a Switch 1 title. That game ranked high on my list because I'm actually super excited for it. Everything they showed in the treehouse for the game looks awesome. I was not going to buy it. Now I am going to buy it, so they did something right there. But I don't think they should have started the showcase with that. Nintendo has this weird thing lately where they're like, oh, well, let's get our Switch 1 games out of the way in the showcase so we can get to the Switch 2 stuff. Like, it's all, you can still play Rhythm Heaven Groove on your Switch 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, at this point, I don't think the casual audience is like, wait, but that's a Switch 1, this is Switch 2. Like, YouTubers are, like, some of our audience are. Some people think of it that way, but I think the general casual people who watch are like, I don't care. I don't know, maybe start the direct with Ocarina, maybe start the direct with Switch Sports, like, I don't know, like, you could have started with a real banger to get it going. And then there's a lot of things they could have ended the direct on that I just think would have been bigger hits. But before I dive too much into that, Joe, what are your thoughts? Like, do you think this direct could have been better with some changes of pace, or do you like it exactly as it was?
Kind of to speak to the points you made, I'm probably a little bit higher on the direct overall, but I think in terms of pacing, you're coming at it from like a point of view that I think if Nintendo did, it probably would have panned out better. I understand like the concept of ending off on Ocarina of Time, and it did what they wanted it to do, right? You always get that, wait, there's one more thing. I think the reason why it doesn't read as well in this direct is exactly as you said. They don't show anything. It really is like a beautiful cinematic. I love the music. Everyone loves the music. Everyone, when they hear the jingle, the hair stood up on my back. I get the feeling. I think it's just one of those things where like you see Link and you're so ready, you're like, oh my god, like it's here, and then it just fades to black, and it really was just over. There really wasn't like I on it to your point. I think if they had said there will be a Ocarina of Time direct in August, even if that tidbit was added once it fades to black, miles better.
then it would have become an A tier for me easily.
Because there's I think the problem with Nintendo right now is that we're in a place where like we get these announcements and then we don't get a date or like a follow-up for so long that these trailers almost mean nothing. They're like, yeah, well, sure, this game is coming, but like when? And that kind of like before I say that, because I know you wanted to say something. Well, yeah, actually, before I go into what I'm going to say, what were you going to say about that?
Oh, I was just going to say, I think that's like the simple thing they could have done to just really send it higher. Like if that's the exact format of the Direct, just add that. That would have made a big difference. But realistically, the game is done. If it's coming out this year, they've said it's coming out this year. Truthfully, what they should have done is just show more of the game. Like, dude, and it didn't need to be much more. But obviously this game is close to playable, if not freaking done. Just show us a shot of him riding his horse in the field, what the new graphics look like. Even if that was 10 seconds, that would have absolutely sealed the deal. Then everybody's ready for the game, you know? They don't need to show anything more than that. Just give us like 5 to 10 seconds of gameplay of like what the thing's gonna look like.
Yeah, show us Link in movement.
That's it.
Not just laying down.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I was literally going to say it would have been such a better shot seeing Link riding Epona like into the Hyrule Fields. That would have been beautiful. It's just funny because I think the other problem with Ocarina of Time is, and again, before you people in the comments like come after us, we are excited for this game. We're both picking it up day one. I'm almost guaranteed.
Absolutely.
It's going to be incredible. I think it's just, especially for Zach and I and other people in the community, I'm sure, we have known this game has been in the making for years now. I'm talking like towards the end of Switch 1, people were saying, oh, the Ocarina of Time remake is coming. And it's like, yes, it's clearly bigger than what we were all imagining, but it still was like, it's coming. So seeing it is crazy, and I'm sure for people who aren't in the rumor mill, that must have been insane. But like Zach and I have literally covered that rumor in this, like on this channel before when we were speaking about remakes coming. Like we were literally talking about the chance of that happening. So I think it kind of, your mileage varies there. But yeah, so if I had to give one major thing that I kind of disliked about this Direct, because again, overall, great Direct. Just want to put that out there. Again, no target on my back, guys, please. But the one thing that I will say is that Nintendo, for some reason, in the Switch 2 era, their Directs have something that has really bugged me, and I feel bad about it, but like, I have to get it out. I like to call them like hanging games. And what I mean by that is like, you look at Splatoon Raiders, you look at Orbitals, right? That co-op game that looks fantastic. And then I'm sure there's another one that's escaping me, but or even like Star Fox, right? Super excited for the release this month. But we look at these games, they show up so frequently in like Nintendo's marketing that it almost is like such a nothing burger when they show up in the Direct. And I think like it really came to a head with me with Orbitals this time, because they gave it a spot, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure
like the
all
third
this
or fourth
gameplay
time
I've
we've seen it.
Yeah, we've been seeing this game since the Game Awards in December, and it's the same gameplay that we're seeing. It looks amazing. It looks like a love letter to like 80s 90s inspired anime. It looks fantastic. I know it's going to be fun, but please stop showing us if it's just going to be like the play with a friend and jump into amazing world, like I get it, I really do get it. Put a demo out or something, because at this point I just want the game to come out, because I'm tired of seeing it. Same thing with Splatoon Raiders. I'm super excited for that game, but I get it, it's single player Splatoon. Just do a Direct like you're gonna do, that's separate from everything. Stop showing it like it's new to me. I don't need the reminder. I'm getting it, guys.
I'm a little bit different from this. I like seeing games multiple times personally, but to your regard, I think the biggest issue is they show us the same thing over and over.
Yeah, that's the problem.
They never show us anything new. Like for instance, actually a good thing in this Direct was Rhythm Heaven. We've seen quite a bit about that game, but I'll give them their flowers here. They actually showed us something new about the game. I was like, oh, okay, cool. This was the piece I needed to sell the game for me. Whereas Orbitals, every trailer's the same. We've seen it 3 or 4 times. They always show us the same stuff. Splatoon Raiders, every single time, it's the same trailer. They show us the same stuff. I really honestly hope they show more in this Direct that's coming up. Like, I pre-ordered the game. I am excited to play it. But I will say, like, so far, even of that game, I'm like, is this just, like, Salmon Run? I do kind of hope there's more to it. Like, the Treehouse was cool, getting to see a bit of them actually play the game. But I feel like there's got to be like some other mode or something. And if there's not, then maybe stop showing us the game. You've kind of showed everything so far.
To be fair, I think it's fine if that is the game, since it is like sort of a budget title. But like you said, like, stop showing us then, because it's like, what's weird is they did that like kind of mini trailer where they showed like the functions, and functionally they did the same thing in this Direct where they're like, you know, customize your character for individual like play styles and go to islands. And it was like almost verbatim what was shown in the trailer for it that they shadow dropped on their YouTube channel. So I was just like, I feel like, you know, I don't mind, like you said, I really don't mind games showing up more than once, but like there needs to be an evolution in like the information given. It can't be, you know, this like, okay, it's still coming, guys. Like, yeah, we know it's still coming. And that brings me to my next point. I think the biggest one for me was they shouldn't have shown Dust Bloods in this Direct with like the information that they gave us. They unfortunately just said, hey, here's some, I think there was one new like actual image that they showed.
And image is the right word, because it literally felt like they showed us 3 images. You know, most of them we'd already seen before.
Yeah. It was the same character designs, the same, you know, which is cool. Like, I'm excited for the game, but then for them to end it on not even giving us a date, but instead saying, hey, this summer, closed beta, and not even showing like how do we sign up for it? Like, what? Like, there was just no. It was so bizarre to me.
If there's a beta this summer, just tell us when it is. Like, that's the other thing. I'm like, that would have hit harder if they were just like, oh, hey, guess what, guys? September 12th, you're going to get to play the game. Even if it's that late into summer, that still would have given us a morsel to hang on to.
You know? Like,
yeah.
So, like, that to me was just really bizarre.
Also, because Dust Bloods could have, and in my opinion, should have been, like, in my top 10 easily. Because I'm very excited to see what this game is. Mm-hmm. And once they flashed, I was like, yes, we're going to get to see more about this game. And then it immediately shot to not even on my list. Because, like, okay, this is about as nothing burger as they could have given us.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what I mean with the
crazy.
The nothing games is just these things that they show, and like I feel like Nintendo's like, yeah, we gotta save a spot for this, because, you know, like, I don't know if they're like obligated to. Again, I go to Orbitals where I'm just like, that game looks fantastic, but why is it in everything Nintendo does, and yet there's no new information? It's just, I don't know. So that for me is like my major fix, is just I would almost prefer having less things at the Direct and maybe focusing more on, like, you know, showcasing, like, okay, for instance, Devil May Cry is coming, right? It's coming this month. Super cool. I would have loved to see more gameplay. We got a fair amount, like, don't get me wrong, but like, hey, take out the 30 seconds Orbitals has and show me a little bit more DMC running on a Switch 2, you know, natively. Like, I don't know, like, if you don't have anything else to announce, at least like show me something.
And they gave us
new.
They did give us the release date finally of Orbitals, so that is important. You know, that is important.
Very
that
true,
honestly
very
could
true.
have been. That could have and probably should have just been a 10-second flash during the sizzle where they're like, Orbitals is coming, you know, September, whatever, yada yada. You know, flashes the date and like, oh, sick. That would have actually made it sick, you know. And then people would have made videos afterwards like, oh, guys, I don't know if you saw it, but Orbitals is coming this date. People would have been stoked about it, as opposed to like, oh, it's Orbitals again, you know. I mean, I mentioned this briefly, but let's be real. We're all thinking about. We didn't need to see 5 minutes of thumb wrestling. Like, come on, I'm sorry.
Says
just to
you.
see the poor guy lose. You liked every second of it, didn't you?
Every time. I love the enlarged thumbs. That made me really excited to get into Nintendo.
I just thought it was
Sports,
hilarious
Switch
because every second of watching it made me want to play that game less. Like, I'm not kidding. And they played it for so long. I was like, this just makes me want to go play like actual thumb wrestling with my sister. Like, I could just do this in real life.
Yeah, you don't need to pay
I don't
money
need a
to do
game for this. I'm so sorry, but I don't need this game. You actually convinced me that's probably the game I'm going to play last on Switch.
Yeah.
Switch Sports Resort.
I like how they go. They go. Yeah, there's like 12
Crazy,
unique games, and they show all these cool things you could do: skateboarding, flying a plane around the island, all this stuff. And
we're
the
gonna
one
spend
that
the
they
most time on
showcase
thumb
is
wrestling.
just for him to
Dude.
lose, like you said. It's, I mean, incredible. You gotta love.
Could you have given me a
Nintendo's
minute
bravado.
of skateboarding? The skateboarding looks awesome. The fact you actually
Yeah.
get to go around the whole island and stuff. I'm like, I want to see
Yeah.
more of that. Nah, we're gonna highlight thumb wrestling. Okay, sick. Show me archery. Show me the wave
Yeah.
racing stuff. Like, come on, dude.
Literally any
I
of the
can't.
coolest things you can do.
Anything else? You could have spent 2 minutes telling me how you made basketball better in this than in the Switch Sports 1, you know, and that would have been better.
Dude, you could have showed me Switch Sports 1 and I would have been happier, to be honest. Like,
Exactly.
that was such a dumb decision, but like I think that's kind of the beauty of like Nintendo Directs is like you have these like heavy hitting moments where you're like, whoa, Stellar Blade's coming, and then it's like, okay, thumb wrestling for 5 minutes now. It gives you a
But
it gives
let's
you a
be
bathroom
real.
break.
Let's be real. In a year or two, we're gonna come back, and that's gonna be one of our favorite moments.
Dude, it's gonna
You
be like
know?
the best. It's gonna be like the best part of the game. There's like a competitive like scene for it.
Scene for thumb wrestling. Dude, so funny. I don't know.
Yeah,
That
man.
is why I like Nintendo, though. I mean, I bash it, but sometimes I really do love that. Like, they are the wild, wacky company that will just give you 5 minutes of thumb wrestling,
Yeah.
even though everybody asks for 30 seconds to 10 minutes of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Like, no, we're gonna give them thumb wrestling. You know, like, cool. Yeah, all right. That's Nintendo for you.
Yeah. Let's give them a 13-second visual of Dust Bloods, and then just completely focus on, again, I can't stress it enough, thumb wrestling. It's not even a sport, but anyway, yeah. I mean, that's how it is.
Not a
but,
sport.
You know, like you said.
Well, Joe, you when you go on an island vacation to a resort, you dive into thumb wrestling, right? That's
You
your
couldn't
first,
make it
your
into
first choice.
you couldn't make it into that sentence 4 words without me just like completely being like, all right, yeah, just
I know where this
I'm
is
gonna
going.
go to a resort to it really yeah, dude. Actually, that's a great point. Resort
Right? Like,
is in the
who
name.
even thought
and
of
you're-
that? Who even thought
why
of that?
is that a
Like,
game?
what? I don't get
I
it.
swear that is so. Oh my god! I feel like the more we talk about it, I'm kind of coming around to it now. I'm like, you know what? This is genius when you really think about it. Like,
Incredible. Incredible.
dude. But yeah,
dude,
man. I
so
think
funny.
I think overall, like this showcase, like you said, could have been probably formatted better. Because like the announcements were great, but I think the pacing, and I think that's kind of what we're trying to hit home with here. I think the pacing was a little weird because you have these moments of like, oh my goodness, this game's coming. Oh my goodness, this game's coming. Like, yes, it's a lot of third party support that is like a couple of years off. We look at Metaphor ReFantasio, we look at Space Marines 2. These were like major games when they released, and now we're getting it. But Nintendo kind of has that magic where like when they come to their system, they kind of get a second life.
It's a moment. Yeah, it's a moment.
Yeah, it's a
For
huge
sure.
moment. So like I'm not even like low on those announcements. I think it really is like we said. I think having those hangover games of like showing the same kind of like sizzle reel moments, I think that's just something that we could cut out. I think starting on Rhythm Heaven, I know Rhythm Heaven fans were going crazy for that. Like they were probably feeling so like seen.
Totally. 100%.
But at the same time, it's like I do think that would have been better in the middle. I think I think no matter what,
Or even as like the
unfortunately, it is
second thing,
kind of a
second or
pace
third
killer.
thing,
Yeah,
like,
second
you know,
thing.
yeah,
I
it's just
think no matter
starting off
what-
with it just felt so lackluster.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem with like Nintendo stuff is like a lot of their first party things are so specific to like certain people. Like you look at something like Star Fox, which like to you and I, Zach, we are excited for Star Fox. The more I see of that game, the more I'm excited. Like I even played the demo once it dropped, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm completely sold. But there are people out there that have no inkling to try this game. and even people in the same like Nintendo sphere, you know, because there are people who want 3D Mario who don't like, say, Star Fox or like
Star Fox,
Metroid or any of these, you know.
It's true.
They're so vastly different. Whereas like if you're a Sony fan, you play God of War, all of their first party titles are just, I'm not gonna be mean and say reskinned God of Wars, but they're all like these very cinematic, very action packed, you know what I mean? Like they have similar tastes. Whereas Nintendo, it's like in the same month
it's all over
get
the place.
Kirby Air Ride, you get Metroid Prime 4 or something like that, you know, where it's like, what?
Or
you
Pokemon
know,
Legends. Yeah, exactly.
Or Pokemon Legends,
Yeah.
exactly. So like, I think I think that's what's interesting about Nintendo is they have this this wider base, but it does make their directs feel a little bit more all over the place. And also like they can never win, because no matter what, as we've always said in our We Killed Nintendo Directs video, there's always just people spamming, when's the next Smash Brothers? When's Mario? Although I will say, in this one specifically, everyone was spamming Deltarune. So when Deltarune actually showed up, it was the first time I ever saw a comment section happy in a Nintendo Direct video. I was like, really? This is what we're... Again, Deltarune, I'm sure is fun. Haven't played it.
It's the new Silk Song, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it is.
And,
but
and
like,
it dropped. Here it is.
Here
That's
you
awesome.
guys go. Yeah, but yeah,
I'm not a Deltarune fan at all, which is why I didn't make my list. But I did hear afterwards that was like a huge thing, and so many people were stoked. So, but see, that's like you just said. That's the great thing. There are so many different buckets in the Nintendo sphere that like please different people and make different people excited. So like even though some of this didn't hit for us, like it hit for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. The people specifically looking for Smash Bros or Mario, they were not satisfied. But I feel like for almost everybody else, like there was something great here. You know, you had RPGs galore. The RPG fan is doing great. You know, that Final Fantasy HD 2D game looks so good. I'm super excited about
Resonance. Yeah, that was
Resonance. I wanted to say Revelation because, you know, that's coming as well. But Resonance, you guys didn't have to give us 2 R games in the same span of time. But what's up with that? But that game looks fantastic. Dude, so many things like stood out. I am really excited about Switch Sports Resort. Like I'm dogging it, but I'm stoked about that game. Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff. I'm stoked about Fire Emblem. It was cool that got more. I mean, that's another game where, like you said, it's these like long, like they should have showed us also more of that game. Like that game is coming soon. I would have liked to see a much bigger breakdown of like what's actually happening in Fortune's Weave. Like this was decent. I'm not saying it was bad. This one was at least better. We saw more of it. But I feel like they easily could have spent another minute on that game, and I would have been stoked just figuring out what was really going on since it's coming out so soon. And also, I mean, this is a side. I'm not going to go too into this, but we found out afterwards the Pokopia DLC is $35. We found out afterwards Fortune's Weave is $80. That's just we're not even gonna dive into that. If you guys want to hear more about our thoughts on the pricing structure, that's for another video. But anyway, that was kind of interesting. That's a take. That's a choice. But no, honestly, I like, at least for me, I'm giving it a solid B. Like this was a B Direct, and I just think with a few changes, it easily could have been an A Direct. I think they gave us a lot of games. People are kind of underplaying like the amount of games and a lot of like great titles. Like there are so many games to play in the next few months. Like June and July are absolutely stacked. You've got Star Fox, you've got Rhythm Heaven Groove, you've got Splatoon Raiders, you know, and then like just around the corner, you know, yeah, we've got Orbitals, we've got Switch Sports Resort. We've got so many games coming. I'm excited again for the Final Fantasy game. I'm excited for Xenoblade. That's like a long ways out. You know, but that was another good thing about the Direct is they actually gave us a far out game. I personally think games like Winds and Waves being in 2027, games like Xenoblade Genesis being in 2027, those are some of the things the Switch 2 cycle has been missing, is actually those far out games. Because they've kind of been doing this weird thing where they're like, oh, like Star Fox is coming in 2 months. And I'm like, wait, what? you could have told us that in a February Direct and it would have absolutely hit, you know? I like the cadence of, I like some shorter cadences. I think Star Fox actually was kind of cool. Like, oh, cool, like that's coming soon. We didn't expect it. But we do also need those big tentpole games that are a ways out to look forward to. Because then it's like, okay, cool, we know what Nintendo is working towards. And then when they give us the Shadow Drop quicker release games, those feel a lot better because we're like, oh, sick, and we get this in the interim, you know. So I think the Xenoblade announcement was one of the best ones for me because at least it gave us a roadmap of like, oh, cool, they've got games coming out beyond just 2026. That's
point.
awesome.
Yeah. I think having that, like you said, I think having a mix of it, Nintendo really has been in the bag of like, we're announcing a game. It's like you said, coming out in 2 months, which is really cool for some people. But as you said, like they're also smaller games. You look at Splatoon Raiders, which has a similar, a little further out than Star Fox, but still a lot sooner than if it was like a mainline Splatoon game, it feels. So they're just like these pockets of time where you're excited for a Switch release and then it comes out and then you're kind of on for the next one. Whereas like with Xenoblade Genesis, it being where it is makes it feel so much bigger. It makes it feel more exciting. And I think Winds and Waves actually had that same effect where people were like, wait, just off the date alone and one trailer, people were like, wait, is this going to be the best Pokemon game of all time? And I think we're even like that too. And it's just because when you see a game in the distance, it's them saying, hey, this exists, this is real, and like, give it time. Now I will say it doesn't always work out like that. Legends ZA had a similar situation where they were like, it was a pretty long way out. But
I think the difference with ZA though was they also didn't show us anything really about that game. They gave us a cinematic trailer and that was it. And then they didn't show us anything for the longest span of time. Winds and Waves is different because what they showed us, we're already seeing the game and it's that far out, which tells us that everything they're doing now is realistically just cleaning it up, making it even better than it already is. ZA, because they didn't show us anything for so long, I feel like eventually is probably because it had a lot that they needed to do to even get it out the gate at all, to get it past the finish line. Whereas it kind of feels like Winds and Waves is already almost there. So the time they give it now is just polish, I hope, so
really good point. No, I do agree with that. And I think, shout out to Monolith Soft for hard carrying Nintendo first party.
What's up?
That's actually another good thing that they did.
Xenoblade Chronicles 1 through 3 editions coming as well. That's crazy, dude.
There's features being added to these games. I cannot stress this enough.
There's Xenoblade Kart. It's Mario Kart Xenoblade. It's crazy.
This is what you have to do. Which is why I think when I saw you put Xenoblade at 1, what Genesis looks amazing. It looks like such a departure. And to your point, I think I agree with that. Should have ended the show. I think Ocarina of Time is obviously the bigger game, the game people are probably overall more excited about. I mean, it's Legend of Zelda. Totally. It is gaming royalty. But when you look at ambitious projects, not to mention Monolith Studios has been hard carrying behind the scenes as well. They've helped with Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, pretty much all of Nintendo's first party stuff. They have at least like asset creation in, whether it be in the world or characters. I think Xenoblade is finally getting the Fire Emblem effect, where it was this like kind of lower tier Nintendo franchise, and then it hit its stride, and now it's finally getting, the love it deserves, and it's probably going to also have the same number of Smash characters in whatever Smash game comes in the future. But yeah, Zach, I mean, overall, if I had to rate it, I think I would go A-. I'm with you. I don't think it's quite an A. But I think for me, I'm just so, and when we spoke about this off video, I'm a big fan of being able to play all my games in one place, and Nintendo has been very not that for a very long time.
And they're finally starting to do it, man.
We're finally starting to do it. The ball's rolling. Yep. We're getting games day and date. We're getting games that, like you said, are maybe a little ways out, but still coming and still look and perform well. I feel vindicated. I'm happy. So that's where I stand with the Direct.
And dude, also one thing we forgot to mention is like there were some big announcements that happened outside of the Direct that I know like they happen outside of the Direct, but I do feel like if they would even throw them in the sizzle reel for this, like it would have hit too, because there's some people who don't watch Summer Games Fest, who only watch the Direct, who don't watch the Xbox Showcase. I really feel like if they'd have thrown Spyro in there, that game looks so good, and we're getting it on Switch too. That's awesome. The fact that Final Fantasy VII, Revelation is coming. I mean, they did do like a Nintendo Switch 2 like announcement trailer for that game, which is great, but I feel like they should have shown that in the Direct too.
Yeah.
Just like some of those also like could have really helped sell this for people who didn't watch those things. But all that to say, yeah, like those games are huge games coming, and those are like day and date. Those are big releases, and they look amazing. So I'm really excited to see how they run on Switch, how they hold up. Freaking Veronica. Resident Evil Veronica got announced as well. Like, I feel like they easily could have had that in the direct as well, like at least a small segment. That would have been huge. So yeah, just some of these minor tweaks. Like, this isn't to say like we needed Luigi's Mansion for this to be good, or like, you know, we needed the new Animal Crossing. I mean, that I would have loved it, sure, but I feel like with just a few tweaks, like the direct could have flowed a little better.
On a quick side note, another thing, for those of you who don't know, go on the eShop, because for some seemingly unknown reason, what's it called on there? Why am I blanking now? I was like, for some reason,
you're talking about Elden Ring. Elden Ring just dropped.
Elden Ring is just
got announced for August, right?
Yeah, I believe it's August. It's this summer. Like, it's on there. You could buy it right now. It's not even like,
that's crazy.
And this is so weird to me, because this was a game that was shown the day the Switch 2 was shown. This was at the Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. So what are, like, I don't know.
See, there's a game we could have used another announcement on. Just give us an update. Be like, hey, here's the game. It's coming out.
This
finally.
could have replaced the thumb wrestling.
Yeah, easily. Easily. I mean, just give us a FromSoft like section. You know, they could have had that really awful, terrible Dustblood section. That would have hit harder if they were at least like, oh, Elden Ring's coming. Here's the release date. You know, jeez, come on, you guys. I'd like to work for the trailer company who puts these together, you know, and just, I mean, honestly, it's probably not the company. It's probably Nintendo being like, this is how you have to lay it out. Like, so it's not their fault. Don't go blast them. I guarantee you
it's definitely Nintendo's. Yeah. I don't see any any company being like, thumb wrestling is really going to get the people excited.
Get the kids going. We've done market research. And, all the Gen Alphas are really interested in thumb wrestling. Anyway, that's good, man. But honestly, like, I'll say this, and this, because you kind of mentioned this briefly, like, a lot of people, like, they just get mad no matter what's in a direct. And so this is not us trying to be mad. This is us saying, like, this could have made the direct better. Yeah. But we just gave it a B and an A-. So, like, we're not really complaining. Yeah. This overall gave us a ton of games. It's still wild, wacky, fun Nintendo, the way we like it. They do things a little different. They got their own drum, and they really do march to it. But all that to say, I still am so happy we got the direct. This was like bigger than E3. Like, that week with Summer Games Fest, Xbox Showcase, PlayStation, everybody brought such great games. Like, it was insane. And truthfully, like, it's better than most E3s that we got. Like, I feel like people have rose-colored glasses with E3s. I don't think we usually got announcements this big at E3. No. I mean, it depends on the caliber of announcers. You know, obviously, you know, if we're comparing it to Switch 1 year, we still don't have what many consider like a Breath of the Wild or a Mario Odyssey. But you know what? At some point, those games are going to come. And to some people, Ocarina of Time is bigger and better than Breath of the Wild. Let's be real. Yeah, for some people, that is Breath of the Wild, if not bigger. So realistically, yeah, this was a great week. It was a great Nintendo Direct. And I've seen some people be like, I feel literally zero about this Direct. Like, it gave me nothing I wanted. I'm like, nothing? Nothing at all?
Nothing?
Like,
they had Hello Kitty. Are you sure nothing?
That, well, dude, I'm shy to admit it. That was my number one, but I knew they'd destroy me in the con.
I knew it was. I
don't play Hello Kitty games, but hey, you know,
could be the one.
For somebody, that was their Breath of the Wild. For somebody, that was their Breath of the Wild. Let's be real. Deltarune was somebody's Breath of the Wild. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I know a couple of those people, but anyway.
Oh no, I'm sorry, people.
It's good. It's good. Everybody's got their games. Nintendo's got a million cozy games. That's why we got freaking Tamagotchi Life, Animal Crossing, and Pokopia deal, you know, in the same span of like 2 months. But anyway, I am still happy we got a Direct. I don't want Directs to go away. I've seen some people being like, we should just get rid of the Directs if this is what they're gonna do. I'm like, what? I hate the idea that we would just get a Twitter drop of everything we just saw, you know, like over the course of like a few months or a year. Like, no, this is the way to do it. Let's keep these. I'm glad we got the Direct, and I had a great time with it. It could have been better, yes. It was a little weird in places, but man, they gave us some goods, and I'm stoked. I got a lot of games to play. That's the main thing, you know? So, stoked about it. But yeah, Joe, any other last thoughts on this? You know, we've got a lot of stuff to play coming down the pipeline for sure.
I'll say, you know, to kind of cap off this conversation, I think this was a great Nintendo Direct. And if I were to suggest one thing to fix it, right, to really bring it home, I would want 10 minutes of thumb wrestling. That is my time, Zach.
Jeez, you knew exactly how to fix it all this time. All right, guys, we've been building to it. Realistically, that's how you fix the Direct. Add 5 more minutes of thumb wrestling. Oh dear. Oh,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Could we try to? Is this possible through the screen? Could we? Nah. All right.
I like how I'm like,
all right, everybody.
Reaching. All right, guys.
I reached through your screen, bro. All right. Guys, we hope you enjoyed this more long-form discussion podcast, and we will see you all on the next Bros and Badges episode coming soon. Till then, go play some games.
Play some games. And remember, guys, it doesn't need to be an A Direct to be a Direct. Thank you.